First of all, thanks a lot for your time. We can't give that back. I appreciate that. My name is Larry McLean. I'm the founder of Your Family Bank. Your Family Bank really is started at a Florida State game. I'm a Florida State guy. You should feel sorry for me because we had a perfect season, didn't go to the national championship, so to speak. But other than that, I was sitting in the Florida State game at that particular time, and my company and what we did here, and we've been in the business since 1987. We were doing annuities and money under management, and basically we were doing 15 to 20 million per year. And 07 and 08, when the markets went crazy and everything, and annuity companies didn't even know if they were going to take money, we were looking for a different avenue of income. So sitting in the Florida State game, there's 80,000 people sitting there, and I said, if I could go out there and tell these people what I do, what kind of response would I get? If I walked out there and said, you know what, we sell annuities, I don't think the response has been that great. I could have walked out and said, we do money under management with Charles Schwab, and we do pretty good at that. We still do, but again, I don't think the response has been that great. We could have went out and said, we sell life insurance. I did at that particular time, so on my own personal self. Again, I don't know what response would I get, but what if I could walk down that field, 80,000 people out there, and ask these two questions? Number one question, I'd like for you to answer this question really for your own self personally. Number one question, are you 100% sure you're going to have a great retirement, or do you have some doubt? Question number one. Question number two is, what if I could show you how to get out of debt 9 years or less, including your mortgage, without spending any additional money than you're spending right now? Would you do that if you could? Now, I can tell you that based upon statistics, 80,000 people out there would have been potential clients. So we went really from a pond of prospects in the annuity world to an ocean of prospects of everybody else. So the one thing I found out about in our business, no matter what we're trying to sell, we have to have someone to sell it to. And I think that Your Family Bank is one of those programs that we have a 15-year history now. It's probably got the longest shelf life out there. It's great for recruiting agents and bringing agents on board because of what it does for their clients. When I started Your Family Bank, I made 100 presentations in 9 months. I only wrote 30 cases, which is not that good because 70 people said no, only 30 said yes. But something happened right here that changed my practice and my life forever. I got 14 referrals I never asked for. I never got that kind of referral ratio on selling annuities, nor money under management, or life insurance. As a matter of fact, to this day, I've never got referrals at all, even close to what Your Family Bank brings to us. So I wrote, in my first 9 months, I wrote 44 cases, and I wrote $705,000 in premium. It didn't include any annuity sales, and it does bring in annuity sales at the same time. But I did $1.4 million in my first year selling whole life insurance. What is Your Family Bank? It's a concept that teaches financial literacy program based upon 7 steps: solution of paying off debt, increasing cash flow, reducing taxes, increasing retirement savings, a predictable plan that uses guarantees. We've been the Agents of the Year. There's companies that we use. Our flagship is Mutual Trust Life Insurance Company. We have been the top MGA for them for, including this year, again, the last 11 years. 2016 through 23, we have saved $562 million of interest that would have went to our clients, lenders, that went back in their pocket. And we're projected for those same clients to increase their retirement by $3.4 billion more in retirement than they would have had sitting down with a YFB rep. Is it worth looking at for you? Well, we have done in sales Your Family Bank. So the question is, does it work? The answer is absolutely works. It depends on what system and what marketing program that you want to implement in your practice. What is our goal? Our goal here is just for you to add YFB to what you're currently doing, and you'll see an average increase of production in your life insurance business of 30 to 50% in whole life insurance. And if you're not doing whole life at all, you'll be looking at over 100% increase in production. You know, if you look at finances is actually in the middle of everything that we do in life. Number one, it's, everything's finances, as well as our family. One of the things that we deal with in situations with families, especially in today's environment and what we're dealing with today with inflation and all the things in finances, if finances are out of balance, it causes stress. Stress can cause divorce, it can cause child abuse, it can cause spousal abuse, it can cause suicide and even murder. When finances are out of step, that never goes away. It's with you 365. It what keeps you up at night and wakes you up at night worried about finances. So if we can help people with their finances, we can help the family. Number two, it affects our fun. In that arena, that if we talk about fun in that situation, that maybe your kids, first of all, maybe our family vacation goes out the door finances. Maybe your kids play sport. If they're playing sports, I've got 9 grandkids, and they're all teenagers, and they play sports, and they're very expensive for their sports because it doesn't come from the school anymore. It comes from the parents. Finances are out of situation. It can strife within the family with even the kids in situations like that. So it affects our fun. It also can affect our faith. A lot of times we stop going to church or start giving to church. Well, just the opposite in regards to that. But at the end of the day, we can get bitter and upset with God because of our finances in regards to that. It affects our health. If you look at that for a second, maybe we stop going to the gym, or maybe we stop, at Whole Foods, the foods that because of finances, all of a sudden we start gaining weight, we get depressed there and cause depression even. It causes problems with our friends. Maybe at the end of the day, when we're working, guy that over your house for the steaks, and all of a sudden money gets tight, we can't do that anymore. Or they're inviting us to the trip or the fishing trip or the hunting trip. We can't go because of finances. Maybe it's the ladies' weekend off. We can't do that either. So it can cause problems with our friends. And most of all, debt caused the biggest problem with our financial future. As we on a day here, and this is every single day, what we find out to be true is debt is the biggest problem with people's retirement. It's not that they don't have enough money; it's because they just have too much debt, and they're trying to save for retirement. Driving their car down, foot on the brake and one foot on the gas because they're burning more than they're earning. So what do we do to chat? If we can reduce their debt, we can improve their family, we can improve their fun, their financial future, their faith in God, their fitness, and give more to the kingdom, if you will, and situations with their friends. Clients and prospects are in debt, so how the prospect pool? You got $121 billion in mortgage debt, auto loans, $10 billion, student loans, $9 billion, credit cards, $8 billion. So the question is, do we have a market? And I can tell you this, without a shadow of a doubt, this is probably the best time we've ever been into of helping people in Your Family Bank. And we'll talk about your Family Bank a lot, but you're also going to hear about Church Legacy Ministries, and they're the same, except Legacy work with churches and people in the church on a biblical situation, and we put that curriculum together in churches, and we're really big in working with churches today across America. I'm getting on an airplane at 6 o'clock, flying to California to make a presentation to the board of a Christian school, and next week to a board of churches to show people how to get out of debt, number one, and number two, how to put this program in place to teach people on the curriculum to stay out of debt. I will give you a second. Dave Ramsey, you probably heard of. He's helped a lot of people. The difference between our program and Dave Ramsey's program is, number one, he will tell you that 90% of the people will not do his program or fall off the program. 80 to 85% of the people that does Your Family Bank stays on the program. I think one of the reasons that Dave Ramsey's situation, people don't be able to do it and maintain it is that, he says, cut up, credit cards, eat rice, and don't have any fun. That dog don't hunt for very, very long. And so we don't want to be able to do that. We want to be able to give people, they can still have to live and still we have to, to have some fun for sure. We have a market. We do, right? If we look at target clients, anywhere from 25 to 35, you're dealing with student loan, people trying to buy houses, cars, maybe even business situations, so market. Then you've got 40 to 60-year-old. This is middle income America. This is probably our biggest market, if you will. Paying off mortgage, eliminating debt, retirement planning, college planning. 65% of the people that are right now are carrying mortgage debt and credit card debt. The average card debt for people that are over 60 years old is $4,700 today. You got people to 60 to 75, they still have debt. They're carrying that mortgage debt and credit card and if you think about it, what if you could pay off their house? Would that free up more money for retirement and help be in a better situation for either spouse in regards to that if their house is paid off? We call this give people interest free every day. So what does experts have to say about money and interest? Well, Mark Cuban, which is on Shark Tank, which I like this guy, he's the best investment you can pay off your credit cards. He says if you got a loan that you're paying 7% off and you pay it off, you're making 7% immediate return, and which is a lot safer than picking stock and trying to pick up real estate or whatever it may be. And that is so true. And this is hard to get. I mean, even agents is that if I'm paying 7% or 15% or 21%, and now I'm not paying that, I am now making it. It's staying in my checkbook. Warren Buffett, which is probably the most influential investor in the world, one of the richest men in the world, a lady came to him and said, hey, I got some money to invest. It wasn't very much money to him, but it was a lot to her. And he asked her, well, do you owe any credit cards? She said, yeah. She said, what interest rate? She said, 18%. He said, ma'am, the best thing I can tell you, the best investment you can do is pay off your credit card, because there's no way I can make you 18%. And that's a guarantee, by the way, 18% return. Matter of fact, that's not what she wanted to hear, but he even said that, she said, well, my daughter has some money. Where would you tell her to invest her money? And he kind of laughed, and he said, ma'am, I would tell her to loan it to you because apparently you will pay 18%, and there's no way I could do 18%. Well, at the end of the day, what makes us different, and I think what makes us is that we've got a tried and true process. We have a system that works out. We have the software, the marketing programs that sit down with a client and take them through what I think is one of the best. I tell people this, as the greatest story ever told is Jesus Christ. The second best story ever told was Larry McLean accepted Jesus Christ. And the third best story you can tell is you can do it too. But the fourth best story is to show people how to get out of debt and be financial free. The two questions that we ask are 100% sure you're going to have a great retirement. Do you have some doubt? What if we can show you how to get out of debt 9 to 10 years or less, including your mortgage, without spending any additional money than you're spending right now? What is our approach? Our approach is the two questions. The first appointment is a 7-step process. You can do it through computer. We've got it set up for steps. You can do a flip chart. You can do it Zoom. I mean, our it does 40 applications a month, and they're all by Zoom. So the second appointment is the big picture program, which we take them through and give them a report and show them where they're at today and can be, and situation close and deliver the policy. This is a pastor and a spouse. That pastor thought he owed $829,000. He's going to be in debt for this is current debt, $829,000. He was going to be in debt for 28 years, but his real debt was $1.2 million. That interest rate that he's paying on his interest was $456,000. Now, I want you to understand two things. That $456,000 is a lot of money, and I get it. But I want you to understand that that money is going away from him. He'll never get it back, and he'll never make one penny return on that $456,000. I put this up for 3 cases in just a typical week. I did a whole life premium in that week. Do that, I don't know. I'm just telling you it can be done each and every time if you go out and see people. We're working huge again, working with churches. This was a single mom, a business owner. She had 2 kids. Her total interest is $191,000. What her true interest rate? I want you to look at that 32.52. For every dollar she was spending, 32% of that was going to interest. It's a big difference if you think about this for a second, and if you look at the report on her interest rates. Her mortgage was 3.2. She had some second mortgage 5.2. Wells Fargo 4.5 on her car. Discover 0. So if you look at that, you say, well, that's pretty good interest rates. But ladies and gentlemen, and this is what we teach in the boot camp and show you, she's not paying those interest rates. Her true interest rate she's paying is 32%. Every dollar she's sending into those lenders, 32% of that is going to interest alone. Again, she never gets any of that back. What we're able to do for her, we got her out at 0.8 years instead of 28.5 years. We saved her $90,000. But this is a big, big deal. If you think about this for a second, we freed up $26,000 a month in regards to that. And I really want you to think for a second, that would be like giving a client, to create $2,600 a month for that client, she'd have to have $633,000 in an account to create that $31,000 a year at 5%. Did we give her $600,000? No, but we put her in position at the same benefit for her that freed up $31,000. Now, here's what I can tell you. We got her out of debt in 9.8 years. Do you think she's going to spend more money when she gets out of debt or while she's getting out of debt? And the answer is absolutely yes. But we designed accounts to be able to give her better cash flow, number one, and be able to buy future things instead of paying that high interest to pay herself. So we saved her $90,000, but in that same 30-year period that she was going to be out of debt, she would have $1.3 million that she can use for retirement. Now, here's what I'll tell you. In today's environment, $1.3 million is the top 2% of America in retirement, okay? Average, not every time, and don't, if you tell everybody I said this every time, I'll tell you wrong, but most times, if normal person gets out of debt, they'll have over $1 million in retirement, along with a death benefit of $1.9 million that if she was to die, that went to her children in regards to that. So, marketing programs, call it AAA marketing, anybody, anytime, anywhere, individuals, families, nonprofit, churches, schools, business, financial education, and workplace. There are a couple of places that we're huge in, that's churches and schools and businesses, and of course individuals. But those areas alone, I mean, there's just so many people that you can out of debt. And and I will tell you this, the millions of dollars of annuities and money under management and some life insurance. But here's what I will tell you. I have never in my life changed people's lives as we do today and showing people how to be debt-free. And I can't tell you how many people that I have had that tears of joy when they see where they can be. I shared this story with Terry either yesterday or the day before. I had a pastor in Texas, and this pastor was a superintendent of churches. Went to a CFP. He wanted to retire in 8 years. His debt service was $9,700 a month, which is a lot. He owed a lot in debt. The agent called me and said, would you talk to this pastor? And I said, sure, and I would have to be in Texas. Called and talked to the pastor, him and his wife. He went to the CFP, and the CFP gave him a 42-page report, which I have a copy of. And that report said to that pastor, there was three observations of the CFP. Number one, you need to give into your church. Well, there's no way he could have done that. The second observation, we've run all these Monte Carlos, and there's no way that you were going to be able to retire in 8 years. And the third recommendation is that you may want to consider filing bankruptcy. I told that pastor on the phone, and I said, Pastor, you've got a mountain to climb. There's no doubt about it. But here's what I think we can do. So we did what we do, ran the reports, found the money, went back to the pastor, and we were able to get him out of, we were able to 8 to 7.4 years. We paid off all except his mortgage in the first 48 months. And again, he had a lot. But he was able to, in 8 years, with $107,000 of income. Now, I'm telling you, his wife wanted more than that, but both of them ended up, when I got finished telling that giving them the report. Both of them cried. He could not believe that they went with a report of no hope to a report then where there is hope and they can accomplish everything that they wanted to come. That's what Your Family Bank does. And when I tell you this, and I make this sincerely, I'm telling you, we absolutely change people's lives. We changed that pastor's life. He will give us a glowing recommendation. He's seen it in action to make that work for him in regards to that. So let's talk about the software. I'm going to have Caleb bring up our software real quick and kind of give you an overview of what the client, because really the software is making to a great degree is a presentation. Number one, it's not going to sell it, but it's essential really for the sale. It takes you to do it, but this report really is one of the reports that when we run report, we do the first to get the information, we gather the information from that client. We run the cases, we find the money, we give the client, and this is what we give to them. We said, one, you've got two problems in America. Number one, what we call people that pay cash. We call that lost opportunity cost. They only use it once. They save up money, and when they save it up, they buy something, and they start back down to zero, and they start all over again. They save it, go back down to zero. That's called the line of zero. They never get past the line of zero. Then we got the rest of the world, which is spenders. This is people that finance everything, right? They get credit cards, they get mortgages, they get all that they do, and they try to pay it off, and they try to what happens, they charge again, they never get off, the bill. We change that. What we can do for the client? Well, sit down. This is a story that we show. When you asked them how much they owe, they said $383,000 is what they owed. But their real interest, which is an aha moment to most people, their real interest was $634,832. That's their real debt, $251,000 of interest. Now, I want you to think about this. We all get to the point that it glazes over. I mean, this is just life, Larry. I mean, you're going to have a house, and you're going to have cars, and you're going to have, go on trips, and you're going to do, it's just life is. I can tell you that's not true. I mean, I've proven that my own personal self and thousands of clients. Because that $251,000 of income, get it back, and they'll never make one penny on it. What if we can recapture that and put that money back in pocket? What would that do for their retirement? Well, at the end of the day, they were going to be in debt for 26.8 years the way they were paying their debts. Well, if we break it down to all their debts and what they were doing, that $251,000 comes out for every dollar that they're paying. Almost 40% of every dollar they're paying is going to interest. Now, I want you to look at the interest rate. Look at 18, 6, 0, 22, 19, and 0. I mean, yeah, there's some high interest rates there, but at the end of the day, they're not paying that. They're paying 39, almost 40%. No wonder we can't get ahead of it. No wonder we can't. Here's what we're trying to do. We're trying retirement by putting something in a 401k, which is a good thing, or whatever, IRA, whatever, save money. But we're driving that car with one foot on the gas, one foot on the brake. We're not going anywhere. And we are burning more than they're earning. There's no way they can take this situation and get to a great retirement because they're paying out more. They're pouring out more out the back door than it's coming in the front door. So you got to remember how banks make money. If you put money into the bank, that money goes in. They're going to pay you whatever interest rate, 1 to 3 or 4 or 5%, whatever that interest rate is. But the bank, if you walk back into that bank and want to borrow that money back, what happens? Number one, what interest rate you're going to buy. It depends on what your credit score is, how long you want that money, and what's your collateral. You could be paying 15, 12, 24, 29%. And the bank actually can loan that same dollar out 7 times. Now, we can't do that, but they can loan out 7 times. But so look what the bank is making in profit. So the bank strategy, listen, the bank strategy is to get you, keep you there. Your Family Bank is a concept of bank. We're not a bank. We're a concept of banking, but our strategy is to get you out of debt and make that happen. So Your money is always in motion. You've got to give every dollar two jobs. You can't stop compounding interest. So we redirect inefficient dollars, and these are the dollars that we find, into a specially designed overfunded whole life insurance policy to the insurance company. And why do we do that? Well, several reasons. Job number one is protect the client, because God can tell you 50% of America doesn't have life insurance at all. And number two, the rest of them are probably underinsured. But job number one is to give them a death benefit. God forbid something happens, it pays off their death or the living benefits for critical illness or whatever the case may be for the rider. That's job one. Job two, though, is to put that money in the overfunded life insurance policy and start paying off debt. And as we pay off that debt, when we pay off that student loan, and that's a huge one today, the mortgage or the car or the credit cards, we take that particular account when we pay it off, and we absolutely turn it around and goes back into the policy to fill up the bucket for the next one. This is snowballing debt. Snowballing debt is nothing new. But using the policy to make that happen is. And we were the first person to ever come out to use a policy to pay off debt. But that money is still making money. Even though we've taken a loan on that policy, we're still earning interest on that money, right? That's that part getting past that line of zero. We're getting past that line of zero at this point because of the dividends and what we're doing going forward and the interest rate and the guarantee. And what we show the client is guaranteed. So how does this approach stack up? People say, well, do it themselves. Yes, they could, but do they? No, they don't. You know, I said a few minutes ago, 90% of the Dave Ramsey says doesn't do or stay on this program, 80 to 85 stay on ours. Here's why. Could you use a 401k to do it? You could if the money's accessible. Is it penalty-free? No. Is it guaranteed growth? No. Is it risk-free? No. Is it tax-favored? Yes. You can use it for leverage? No. Is there a death benefit? No. How about a mutual fund? Can you get to it? Yes. Is it penalty-free? I don't know, because if the market's down 20%, you pull money out, is that penalty-free? Probably not. Does it have guaranteed growth? No. Risk-free? No. Tax-favored? No. Leverage? No. Death benefit? No. Bank savings? Better. Accessibility? Penalty-free. Guaranteed growth? Risk-free, but guess what? Not tax-favored, leverage, or death benefit. Your Family Bank, the policy that we use, checks every one of those boxes. That's why we use it. And I tell people, a lot of people are trying to get debt themselves. I feel they're doing it the wrong way, control the money. A quick story, Dave Ramsey had somebody told me this story this week or last week. They said a guy called in Dave Ramsey and inherited $250,000. Dave said, well, do you owe it? He said, I owe my house. He said, how much? $750,000. He said, if I were you, I would pay down on my house. And that's exactly what he did. He put $250,000, whatever it was, in against his house. A year later, he lost his job. They took his house, the $250,000, and whatever equity in his house away from him. Now, my point to you is that if he was doing Your Family Bank, he had the money separately siloed that he could still pass off, but God forbid if he lost his job, he still has access to money. That's giving that dollar to jobs. Years to pay it off. So when we run the report for these people, they were going to be in debt for 26 years. We got them out of debt in 9.5 years, right? And if you look at that, we saved them $116,000 that went back in their pocket. We freed up $45,000 a year. You'd have to have over $900,000 in an account to give that person $45,000 a year. Potential saving $1.5 million with a death benefit almost $1.8 million for that client. Ladies and gentlemen, I can tell you this without a shadow of a doubt. That's a life-changing event for that person. And I can tell you, client after client after client, when they see this, they stay with it. Plan to do it, it takes them through it, walks them through it, and makes it happen. We've had Your Family Bank started that I know of personally. All 5 of those deaths, although they were premature, every one of them, that person did not have any life insurance except for the Your Family Bank plan. And the reason they bought it wasn't for the life insurance, it was to get out of debt. But unfortunately or fortunately, either way you look at it, there was death benefit to pay off, and they were all men that died. paid off all their debts for their family in regards to this. In the same period of years, this client's going to have $1.2 million in liquidity, tax-free, and $1.4 million death benefit. Now, if this person died, they're going to get 1.4. The wife would, let's say it's on the male, the wife will get 1.4. But if doesn't die, they have $1.2 million for retirement, right? So when Dave Ramsey says, oh, why would you borrow your own money? Number one, you don't. And number two, by the way, it's not just the death benefit goes up each and every year, and I'll show you in just a second. So the YFB debt wave, reduce debt to minimum payments, pay off your first debt as soon as possible, put the next payment, roll the next payment into your policy to pay off the next debt, interest evaporates, and cash value builds up. We pay off the biggest one, usually the mortgage, and we create a tsunami for the client to pay it off. This is, I mean, to me, this really kind of works it down and shows the client very simple. This defense is them paying their bills, and they were paying money, and we're going to use that same extra money over here, and then we're going to do it your family bank way. All right. So what we're going to do, I'm going to go down 12 months. So let's do it 12 months. There's 12 months down the road. Now I want you to look. Now doing it their way, they're able to pay off Visa and their orthodontist. Well, your family bank way, we've done medical, appliances, orthodontist, Visa, and the furniture. But I want you to look at the bottom right-hand corner. They've got $5,884,000 of cash earning interest for them. And if you look on their side, they got zero. And if we go, let's say, I don't know, 24 months, Caleb, if you want to go somewhere along in there. We are 24 months down the road. We have paid off everything but their mortgage, and that's usually, not always, but that we pretty much pay off all their consumer debt in that first 24 months. The biggest one is their house. You can see that they still owe their medical, their auto, and their mortgage. They only owe the mortgage, and we've got almost $13,000 in an account that's earning interest for them. So let's just go to when we pay off the mortgage, if you can go where that's at. All right, so we paid off the mortgage, right. We paid off all their debts and their mortgage. They still owe their mortgage, and we've got $80,000 in retirement that they could utilize or for whatever they want to use it for. And Caleb, if we go all the way to the end, we paid off everything, they paid off everything, but the difference is we got $1.2 million and they got zero. Mr. Client, you can keep paying exactly doing what you're doing right now. You can do it the YFB way, what would you like, or the Church Lacey way, which would you like to do? And I can tell you today that when I sit down with clients, I told you when I first started, 70 people said no, only 30 said yes, with 14 referrals, which changed our life. Today, when I sit with a client, they're qualified for the client with the new software and the new stuff that we're giving to the client today in the marketing programs. They say yes, they want to be able to do it. And remember, 85% of the people stay on the program. I will tell you this on a personal basis. When I first started Your Family Bank, my first 7 years, because I don't know what station of life that you're in, but here's what I can tell you. There's first, second, and third, and fourth quarter. I'm in the fourth quarter. You may be in the first, second, or third quarter, but you may be in the fourth quarter. But in my first 7 years, I did Your Family Bank. I mean, and I worked very, very hard because I'm trying to change everybody's life. I can tell you, I created $257,000 of of renewals that come in. I never got one dime of renewals off my annuities. And that $257,000 still comes in today, and that's mailbox money. Now, that's not a great retirement. That's a pretty it beats Social Security, I guarantee you that. So, this is the software we go through it with the client, exactly what money, capitalize the bank, take the loans out, create that wave, be the bank, and give that dollar to jobs in regards to that. So that's where we ended up. What's the next step? It's take an application. Approval time, it takes, it can kick up 30 to 45, 60 days, depending on, it is fully underwritten. Fund, and once we got it, we fund it and off to the races. So and I have a lot my office is in St. Augustine, Florida at World Golf Village, and I understand that y'all have an office here, so that's exciting to even know that. We have a lot of engineers, like at the Grumman place over there, Norfolk Grumman, and I can tell you they want to be able to do numbers. I want to show you this. this happened to be this case. We put $9,000 in the first year, got $5,335, and we're starting to pay off debt already in our first couple of months. We start to pay off debt. And as we go through, we're building that cash flow and the roll-up money that's going through there. And this column right here, and we go through this for 2 days and teach you guys 2 days in regards to that doing. That's what the boot camp is. So that's really the software. I can tell you this, I don't have time to do all that today. I can tell you. Potential for you is number one, the marketing, the software brings in new clients. If you create one bank, find one person in a whole month to help you based upon where we're at today on street level, commissions is $40,000. 2 banks is $80,000 a year. 3 banks is $120,000. Your business case could be over $150,000, which you can do in regards to that. Again, what's the next step? The next step is that you have to come to a boot camp and trained. We do that. You can do virtual or live. We do both here in St. Augustine at the same time in our offices here. We teach you the 7-step process. We go over all the marketing programs, the debt software program. The cost of that is normally $250, but in working with Terry, because you guys we give a $100 discount. You guys if you come to the boot camp. We have one May 15th, 16th. You can take a picture of that or shoot that. That will give you some information of it. We start at 10 o'clock and usually go to about 3:30 to 4 o'clock for 2 to that. That's the dates of that. And the next boot camp. Is there a cost to joining your family bank? There is. There's a couple of different ways that we do this, and we certainly can talk about that. You come to the program, it's $189 a month. We have a $500 setup fee for the training. It's an 18-month subscription in regards to that. But here's what I can tell you. Return on your investment, we're going to help you sell your first 3 cases right out of the gate. We're going to do all the back office, run the cases for you, put it together so you don't have to worry about that. Average case is $4,600, so you've already paid for the system if you make one sale. And mutual trust, if you do $10,000 in new business credits, they will credit you back toward our program, plus another $200 educational, so you get $1,200 back if you saw those three cases, you'd be there to get that money back. And you can get up to $1,500 educational reimbursement based on your production. So day one, you come to the boot camp. After that, there's some software training, virtual software training. That's 3 hours of software training after that, after the boot camp. We help first those 3 cases. And our goal is to get you conference qualified. We just got back from Dominican Republic for 7 days at a 5-star resort there. Actually, 2 5-star resorts we went to. They have next year's trip is to London, which is for you and your partner. It's a great trip, and so that's a fun time to do it. We call it Live in Free Every day. You contact our offices here. That's the information there that you can touch with us at. I'm gonna shut up, and you, Terry, if you may have some questions, or I'll entertain some questions, need to, or whatever the case be, for you.
When they do this, so if we do the thing on March the 14th and 15th.
Yes, sir. It's May.
How many can you do? Just as many as we can get on there?
Yes, sir. I mean, virtual we can do as many as you put on there. We're in our offices here. But I mean, they're welcome. St. Augustine, if they want to or whatever, they're welcome to come. We have a training room here that they can come to, but there's no limit on the virtual side of the fence.
And on this system, when we get them started, do we get them licensed with Mutual Trust and Lafayette, or just Mutual Trust to begin with?
Well, that's entirely up to you. I mean, the software works for both companies, if you will. I think Mutual Trust I would tell you service is a lot better than Lafayette. I'm not trying to say Lafayette's, they're a good company, they've got great ratings, and they got a good product. the I have with Lafayette is that it takes so long to get it out of underwriting and services. They need to hire more people, but I've told them that 100 times, but apparently it doesn't stick. So mutual trust, pretty much, they understand our product. If you call in and say, hey, I got a YFB policy or banking policy, their people know exactly what you have and how to handle it. But it doesn't matter to me. It doesn't matter here. So in regards to that. But I would start with mutual trust. Yeah.
So the thing is they got to pay $150, right?
The discount for the boot camp.
That's a discount for the boot camp. It's normally $50. We'll give you a discount.
And one thing that I'll do is sign up and get mutual trust. I will pay, $75 for them.
Well, that's a good deal for them, then. So if I'm the first 10, I'll be jumping on it myself.
So but the other thing, when we look at it, that I'm not really clear on yet, but I will be, is when somebody gets into the program, how do they pull the money back in from the policy? That's something you teach us at the boot camp, right?
We're going to go through it in detail, Terry, but here's what I can tell you. It's a very, very simple process. It's a form that goes to, we'll just use mutual trust. You can through email a form in. They will turn around and they'll send a wire of money back in the client's checking account. That money reaches. It can take probably 5 business days at the most. I've had emergencies where I've had the money wired the same day. Okay, so but it goes back in their account, and once it goes back in their account, they take that check to Visa and pay off Visa, because the report tells them, and we work with the client too, and shows them exactly when to pay off that debt, right? And so they send that money to Visa, and once they send that money to Visa, then whatever they were paid to Visa, we sign at the same time with that form that we take the loan from the insurance company. We sign that form for that extra $100 now to go back to mutual trust. Instead of going to Visa now, they're putting the money back in their own pocket, if you will.
See, that's brilliant. That's a brilliant way of doing something.
Yes, sir. It's even getting more automated as we speak. I mean, there's a lot of things that we're working on that's going to roll out this year, but it works. I mean, when I did it, I'm thinking, my gosh, I'm going to have a bunch to handle all this stuff up, right, if you will. And my wife is Donna, by the way. So then I said, man, I don't have to do this at all. The report tells mine to do it. I said, just look at your report. And, man, they call you. They know exactly when. And so we teach the client actually to do it themselves. But I always bring my clients in to do it, because here's why. Every time I bring a client in, I ask this question: who else do you know needs to get out of debt? And they'll say, my brother, my sister. We get referrals because they see it working. I mean, before, if they had it, it's like Terry, when we get to heaven, me and you will be surprised we got there. When we get there, there's a lot of other people going to be surprised too, I guarantee you. But when we get there, we're going to say, well, doggone, it's true, right? Because we ain't never seen it yet. We heard about it, but we ain't seen it. Well, that's what happens to say heaven. But when they see it working, then they get it. You know what I'm saying? So.
Yeah, when we start doing this, last year I spent $60,000 on doing dinner meetings, and we just barely broke even. So what my last question that I wrote down when you were talking was, if we were to go back to those people, talk about getting out of debt and stuff, do you have a campaign or something that we could drip for 3 or 4 or 5 weeks?
Yes, sir. We got a ClickFunnels program that you can use to drip in 9 yards. The marketing side of the fence, we got a ton of ways to market as far as that. So, I just had a guy in Arkansas. Did had I don't know how many people they had come to the event, but they got 17 leads right off of that. And I think there was like 40 people there. They got 17 leads in regards to that.
Have you got a copy of a mailer for something like that?
Yes, sir. We can get that. We absolutely can get that. Yes, sir.
And then the last question I had, you said that they sold 40 policies in 1 month, all on Zoom.
Yes, sir.
How does it do? Is that something you trained in how to do on Zoom?
Zoom is, I just did it. You just saw the presentation. I just did it to you just now, except I always tell about that person was Mark and Joyce, a little bit different on that, but basically we do a presentation, and the only reason we do the presentation is at the end of the presentation to fill out a data sheet to give you the information, so now you can run their report and show their numbers. That's really, and people want to see their numbers. Once they see it, somebody doesn't want to be out of debt 9 years, 7 years. Doesn't want to be out of debt, okay? I don't know that person that wants to have over $1 million in retirement. But when you can take liabilities and turn them into assets, you're changing someone's life. You really are changing someone's life.
And the sweet spot is what age or what amount of money they owe. I got it's worth $1 million. Like I got it maybe be making $1 million a year. He might not be for this program, but he might be borrowing $2 million, so he might be for the port. So you can't really look at people and second guess them. You really need to fill out the program and see where they're at, don't you?
Well, here's what I can tell you. You can't tell the book by its cover. Just because someone's driving a brand new car, living in a brand new house, and look like they got life by the tail, I can tell you a lot of times that's all charged and they're paying interest on. I got doctors that work at Mayo Clinic in Jacksonville, Florida, that make over $500,000 a year, up to their eyeballs in debt, living at Players Club, can't even send their kids to college because of their spending habits. And that's one of the things that we're able to do. We're able to put some people in a position where we can find $500 to $1,000 a month and to show them how to do that and working with some budget situations. So it's what our heartbeat here is to help churches, pastors, staff members, and people in the kingdom. That's the heartbeat. But I want everybody I can get out of debt. And the more people we help, the better America's going to be. America is in a mess right now. They are in a stinking mess. And I feel how I feel. I'm in a lifeboat, grabbing people by the shirt and pull them in the boat as fast as I can pull them in there. Yeah, they need to be saved, but they also need to be financially free too. And let's see if we can. That's the mission of what we do.
Larry, didn't you say that the age that you help the most is between 40 and 60 years old?
Well, I would say, do we have people that's 25 and 30 years old? Yes. But majority of people, their 30s, early 40s, and 50s, that's where the need is the most because, number one, here's what I will tell you. You don't get a brain until you're 40. Seriously, you don't, you don't even know what the crap is going on until you're 40 years old, right? They finally get it, right? They finally understand, right? You got to get at some point, right? But at the end of the day, that middle income America is our market. Listen, Donna, for us is insurance agents. They're in a mess. Let's there's a bunch of there we got to help, right?
Yeah, they get hold back.
That's right. I got to get on another call at 4 o'clock. I apologize, but I got to be on at 4. I'll answer any questions. We can have another call. Terry, Donna, we can have another call if you'd like, or I call you later today if I need to, or Caleb's available too here to talk to you. But I got to jump on this other call, and whatever we need to work out, we can work out, and Terry work some things out if we need to. Okay.
Great. Sounds good to me.
Thank you so much for the short notice and coming on board and allowing us to do it. Thank you so much, buddy. We appreciate that. Okay.
Thank
Yes,
you.
sir.
Thank you.
Bye-bye, guys.